If we could go ahead and call to order the Seminole Airport Authority for Tuesday, August 9th, 2016. If we could please get a roll call vote, or excuse me, call to order, Joe.
Jeff Griffin.
Jay.
I'm here. Bill Wantland.
Here.
That was wrong.
Tim Poplin.
Here.
Gary Houck.
Here.
John Kramer. Chris Anson.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Edie Patterson.
Here.
Shane Fisher.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move its approval. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Gary Houck.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Edie Patterson.
Yes.
Shane Fisher.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Are there any appearances from the audience for the Airport Authority? If not, let's move to current business. Number 1, consideration possible action to approve applying to the Federal Aviation Administration for a 90-10 matching grant of $200,000 for a new AWOS system.
So the matching funds would come from,
Mrs. Emmett, would you like to tell us exactly the new plan, the new amended plan for the AWOS? They were asking for more money this time than what we had projected. Is that accurate? Okay, tell us what you know.
The AWAS project, we actually need this since our AWAS will become obsolete at the end of this year. The projected right now is about $200,000, but it very well could come in a lot lower, which means your 5%.
10%.
10%. 10% could be a lot lower than the 20,000. Yeah, it's 10%, right? Yeah, the last one we did was 5, this one's 10.
Did we budget for that? We did, didn't
Yes.
we? And what, how much?
Well, we had the full amount in there, so what she's saying is that she's projecting that it's gonna come in less than the 10%. Just for your information, the AWOS helps the glide slope of the aircraft that are trying to land at the facility. So if they're on instrument approach, they've got the ability to lock in on that AWOS, and it helps them be informed. Not just that, I think that has a weather element in it.
Well, Jeff, without it, they can't make an instrument approach, can they?
no,
Move to approve.
second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Gary Houck.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Edie Patterson.
Yes.
Shane Fisher.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? If we can now please call to order the Seminole Gas Authority. Roll call, please, Jay.
John Kramer. Excuse me. Tim Poplin.
Here.
Edie Patterson.
Here.
Bill Wantland.
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
Gary Houck.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Chris Anson.
Here.
Shane Fisher.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Tim Poplin.
Here.
Edie Patterson.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Gary Houck.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Shane Fisher.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Are there any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Gas Authority? If not, do I have a motion for
So
adjournment?
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? If we could please call to order the Seminole Utilities Authority. Roll call, please, Jay.
Edie Patterson.
Here.
John Kramer. Chris Anson.
Here.
Bill Wantland.
Here.
Jeff Griffin.
Here.
Tim Poplin.
Here.
Gary Houck.
Here.
Larry Church.
Here.
Shane Fisher.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Edie Patterson.
Here. Yes.
Chris Anson.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Gary Houck.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Shane Fisher.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Are there any appearances or petitions from the audience for the Utilities Authority? We can go to bids. Number one, consideration possible action to approve soliciting sealed bids for the relocation of the sewer and water mains necessary for the construction of a new bridge over Magnolia Creek on East Broadway.
And this is the money that will be reimbursed by the state, right? Or not?
Yes, however, they've talked to us a little bit about the things they're gonna be getting over on private right-of-way. And we're not exactly sure what that cost is yet, are we?
No, and the water and sewer utility relocation cost will go straight to ODOT. It won't be funneled to us. And there is a possibility that we may have to pay for some utilities that are on public right away right now, on private property, I'm sorry. And they haven't given us a good estimate on that yet. I would assume that's not gonna be real expensive.
So that's nothing, we don't get reimbursed for that, or that's just on us?
Will that be part of the bid or not?
No, sir. That won't be part of this. But there could be an expense to us. I don't know. The initial cost that we got was like 11,000, but there were some errors in that, so I would say it's gonna be a lot less than that.
Does everybody know what project we're talking about? The new highway expansion between Wewoke and Seminole?
Four-laning
The
highway.
four-laning, yes.
Well, it's going out and soliciting bids, so I make a motion.
Yeah, we'll have more discussion on it.
Right.
from that. Yeah. Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Gary Howe,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Shane Fisher.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? We could now please call together the Seminole City Council. Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Anson,
Here.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Here.
Gary Howe,
Here.
Larry Church,
Here.
Tim Poplin,
Here.
Bill Wantland,
Here.
John Kramer, Jeff Griffin,
Here.
Shane Fisher.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bill, if you'd be kind enough to lead us.
Isagadamisi Mishka Hangagigodai, Pumakasapkaniquiche de Mado, moment Patalofa Seminole, moment Puesti Amalgan, Itinokachikitis, Momachimi Isagadamisiano Geskas. God, whose mercies cannot be numbered, accept our prayer of thanks for the city of Seminole and for all our people. Let us love one another, for you, God, are love. Amen.
Amen.
Elections and appointments. Number one, consideration of possible action to approve the mayoral appointment of Ray North to the Seminole Urban Renewal Authority for a 3-year term to fill the position vacated by Rob Pyron, whose term expired July 31st.
I make a motion to approve with the first name of Roy.
Oh, it's Ray. Sorry. Do I have a
Second.
roll call, please, Jay?
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Gary Howe,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number two, consideration of possible action to approve the reappointments of Laura Rose, Carol O'Daniel, Vicky Carter, and Penny Davis, each for a 3-year term as Housing Authority Commissioners.
We'll need to do this individually as well for each one.
If we'll start with Laura Rose.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Gary Howe,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do we have to do roll call, or can it be yes and no?
I honestly don't know the answer to that. We have always done a roll call for the last 10 years, so I know it's painful, but if we could go ahead and do it.
That's all
But
right.
I'll find that out.
If I could please get a motion for the acceptance of Carol O'Daniel.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Gary Howe.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
If I could please get a motion for Vicky Carter.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Gary Howe.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And for Penny Davis.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Gary Howe.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consideration and action of consent agenda.
Move its approval.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen.
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson.
Yes.
Gary Howe.
Yes.
Larry Church.
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Are there any appearances or petitions from the audience for the city council meeting? Under current business, number 3, consideration and possible action regarding repairing the signal lights at the intersection of Milt Phillips and Evans.
Yes, if you haven't been down Milt Phillips lately, you may not have noticed that we've had a light blinking there at Evans Street for several days, weeks. We wanted to bring this to you. There's actually 2 ways to try to repair that light. Neither one of them are what I consider cheap, but we've got it really boils down to whether you want to go with more expensive pulling wire underneath or even boring underneath the highway, or if you want to do a quick repair and do it overhead. I think that the numbers are in the packet. I'm having trouble bringing it up, but Mike, do you remember those off the top of your head?
Yeah, the alternate two to actually do the board, the permanent fix would be $18,500. And then, we have to put the new signal heads. If we go either underground or overhead, the new signal heads will have to be put back up. And those are $6,400. And if we just do the overhead wires instead of the board, we can get by with $3,300 plus the $6,440. So for $10,000, we can go overhead, or for $25,000, we can go underground. The only thing about overhead is with all the wide loads and the tall loads that come through town, sometimes they'll catch that wire and take that wire with them as they go.
So they won't be taller than the lights?
The wire, yes,
So they'll take the lights out too?
yes, but they.
They do that.
Occasionally,
Right.
what I've seen them do is take a board and push that light up and then drive under it.
If they take it out, are they responsible for paying for the repair?
Catch 'em, yes, sir.
If you catch them?
Kind of hard to catch them when they're flying down through there.
I'd like to ask my fellow councilman, Mr. Waltman, I think he remembers, that light was put in because of our fire department, if I recall right.
That is correct. Yes.
And I'm not for taking it away, but is it really necessary that we have that light? Has anyone thought about that?
That's the only light between Broadway and Struthers that crosses there,
It
correct?
is.
I would think it needed to be a four-way stop if we don't have a light. And the reason being, when you're on Evans and you're pulling out there, you can't see around that building. that
Yeah,
used to
the
be
AT&T
Southwestern
building is the issue. I know that some of our school buses use Evans, and I wouldn't want them pulling out there without some protection from that AT&T building.
It's hard to
blocking.
see around it too.
It is.
Even pulling up there.
Yes, it is.
We did have a four-way stop out in the center to help with people stopping so they'd see it ahead of time. And that lasted about 2 weeks. And then somebody ran over it.
I think that from my end of it, that is a keeps the traffic down, the speed, and it's probably a little bit safer to have something there. I know in the past, we've had, I get a lot of tickets that come through that I sign from speeding in that area. Plus, we've had a few accidents there.
Then my next question would be, is the four-way stop the way to go with that?
Now, do we have to have permission from ODOT to change it since it's a
I don't
stoplight?
know.
I don't know.
I would say we'll probably have a traffic study done to be able to take it out.
Trying to come off those side streets onto Mount Phillips when traffic's flowing is sometimes difficult. Yeah, we need to have something there, I think.
I think if ODOT wouldn't let us take it out, though, that they should pay to fix it, if they require it.
Have fun.
You'll have to replace it.
So,
Go ahead.
if you leave it flashing and you have to replace the heads, but it's running right now off of something.
The way we got it wired.
Okay.
So as far as the rope type light, the wire type light and the regular light, what's the lifespan of the? They're just,
Gary, I hate to even say when those were put in.
I mean,
They've been here since I've been.
well, I know the rope span that you see going across the roads and stuff. I mean, to me that just,
Those are always moving.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's,
they don't
to
look that
me-
great either.
no, they don't look good at all.
They're already there. There's rope spans across them already. They just don't go to the lights. Their electric lines are going to the MV lights, mercury vapors.
But with the weight of the light there on it.
No, the lights aren't hanging from this. This is just
No.
electric overhead.
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah, there's just electric
It
going
still
across.
hangs from the.
They're still being.
You'll have the wire that comes out of the controller box, you'll
Mhm.
have one go to one set of lights, then to the other set of lights, and back over to the other side. So
Okay,
you'll have
so it's not the
wire-
regular rope light that goes across like you see in some towns.
No, it'll still be the heads, but you'll have a wire that comes out of the control panel over to one set of the lights, back over to another set, and then back across and back to the panel.
What do you suggest, Mike?
Long term, you're gonna fix it, I think we should fix it right and be done with it.
You said they've lasted for
Oh,
forever, that I know.
30 years,
Yeah.
I mean,
Mike, if we decide to replace the stands and everything like we did up on Strother, is that wiring something that could be tapped into again?
that's why, if we choose to do it that way, that's why it'll have the pull pins and everything in it. So we can just put the new panel, the new box, and the new hose.
What about adding sensors to it? Is that something we're capable of doing with this improvement, or does that take an
You can
entirely
do it.
new
You can
panel?
you can put probably would have to go back with the traffic, with the loops in the road
Instead of the,
instead of with the camera. Because our panel won't accept the
camera signal?
You mean we could put the loops in the road with this, what we're
You
doing?
could, but it'd be more expensive.
You gotta cut the road to do that, don't you?
Would we do that ourselves, though, or would we pay somebody else to do it?
We had them do it at the time of the
Do we know how much more expensive it would be to put the sensors in the, or do you have any idea?
Well, no. But it's on a timer right now,
Mm-hmm.
and the timer's set to let the traffic flow with Phillips.
I think that's one of the most irritating things about it, though, is the fact that, yes, you sit there, nobody's there.
I hear it all the time.
I think that would,
I
How
hear it
long
more
is
than
the
he
delay,
does.
though? If you actually pull up and your light just turned red and you're crossing Milt Phillips, how long is the actual delay, the maximum that you would have to sit there?
30 seconds.
It feels like 5 minutes.
especially if you're in a hurry.
I,
Well, what
not
is it
most
the old
of our-
boy said when he ran a red light like that? He said, well, no one was using the greens.
It's not most of our traffic lights like that, Mike, is most of our traffic, downtown lights are on timers too, aren't they?
Yeah.
Pretty much all of our lights, except for those new ones
What
out
happened
that
when
direction.
ODOT come through the last time when they did the overlay, they overlaid all the loops. They wouldn't fix them back.
Well, they also didn't raise the height and for those trucks either, did they? To let them know. So I didn't knock them out for every once in a while.
The DPS, they're all supposed to send all the overhead trucks around, walk through Bourne, and come back out to the folks and make it. The good thing is they all have highway patrol escorts come through.
So would the new signal heads, would they be mounted higher, or they're gonna be mounted the
So
same
we
height?
mount, we can mount them higher.
You're gonna have to do that whether you go wire or underground, right? The signal heads? I think it comes down to a money situation. I think that kind of what it boils down to. The funds, where they're gonna come.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some more blood out of the turnip. I mean, we don't have it.
How much would it cost to put four-way stop to the stop signs put up there? And just take the lights out?
For one, it had to be ODOT approved.
We have to do
Yeah,
a
you'll
study
have to have the
first.
traffic study done by ODOT. More than likely, before they'll let us do a four-way stop, they would probably just say, take it out. I'm projecting something that I don't know, but if it's not worthy of holding a signal light, it's probably not something they're gonna be concerned about.
Well, I don't wanna do
Traffic
that if there's a
count.
chance they may, I mean, if it's not a four-way stop, I'd rather have the lights.
You said that if you do the overhead wire, that would be a short-term solution versus boring, which would be long-term. How much shorter would the overhead wires last than the boring? Barring some truck ripping them off.
I would probably say 50%. You've seen in a lot of other cities, they don't look too good swinging there, but.
So
the way
what,
they'll brace them to where they're braced pretty well.
so 10 years, 12 years,
I
something
you
like
get
that?
10 years,
And so the money would be $3,300, because we'd have to spend everything else anyway,
correct.
no matter what we
And then if you wanted to budget down the road,
So the lights would still be on the poles and a wire going to them, right? So you're talking about the wire swinging.
yeah.
The
going
wires
to
are
it.
gonna go up to the pole
Yeah.
and go to the light. They're just going from pole to pole and then go out on those stems. It's not gonna, not gonna have wires going to the.
It's not the light hanging
Yeah,
down,
it's
what
not
it
the light
is
hanging.
each
There's wires
pole.
already hanging there across
You
two.
go into one signal head, then you'll come from that pole to the other ones, in order to.
And there's already wires going across there, two of them.
Wires for the lights. for
Yes,
the-
MV lights.
Yeah.
Can they put those, wind them together? They gotta be separate?
I don't know.
And they put a cable, and then they attach a cable, and then they attach that wire to that cable, so.
So could we have it so only one cable goes across Mill Phillips, and then you run it to the others across Evans? That way we're only gonna lose one wire when they rip it out?
I think you're gonna have to go over and back, aren't you?
I didn't know if you could go from one and across.
I think you're gonna have to go, I think you're gonna, either way you go, you have to go two.
I just thought we
But
could.
we can raise them up too, with, like Tim said, when you get the new lights in, we can raise those new lights up as high as we can get them, and then we can raise the wire with them, so.
Well, to get the discussion going, I'd move that we use the overhead at this point. And with that motion, I would move we also explore setting up some sort of fund in the long run to take care of when it has to be replaced.
And the difference was about $15,000, is that?
3,000. Wouldn't it, what'd you say it was?
16,
About 15,000.
15,000.
15,000 difference, yeah.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Hansen,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Gary Howe,
Yes.
Larry Church,
Yeah.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
yes.
Motion passes.
Under reports, city manager.
We have an item 4.
Oh, sorry. On current business, the addendum. Number 4, consideration possible action to approve the right-of-way public utility and encroachment agreement with Oklahoma Department of Transportation for the East Broadway Bridge project.
The city manager, anything below 10,000, he can solicit. So it doesn't have to be declared an emergency.
Are you looking at the right-of-way agreement?
No.
Well, this is the right-of-way.
This is the
agreement.
right of
No,
way.
I was talking about the emergency for the one that just happened.
Oh, I see what you're saying, before we go to that.
Yeah. But since it's below the 10,000,
We won't have to, he can do that.
Okay. So you don't need the item 4?
Yeah, we need item 4, it's a different deal. I don't think we need to have it declared an emergency.
Well, the bad part was, it wasn't on there to
Yeah, it's
declare
not on the
one,
agenda to declare an
Yeah.
emergency.
so we couldn't do it anyway.
Right. But I think we're gonna be okay on that anyway, just from the amount that we've looked at it that would cost. Item 4 is the right-of-way agreement with ODOT for the bridge project, which you discussed previously. It was sent to me by Mike. I've looked at it. We've had an issue with this particular agreement before. It's okay in all respects, except there's 2 phrases I really don't care for, and that's really the provisions in there about indemnifying ODOT for issues that occur with the project. As you know, we got into that issue out here. I don't like it. We have taken that through Steve has taken it through the municipal league. They're aware of it. We really didn't get a whole lot of traction on that, but ODOT is kind of in the driver's seat on this deal, and with them funding the majority of the project, we're kind of at their mercy. I've told Mike that, you know, I'm going to go ahead and just for the record state I don't like it, those provisions, but we need to go ahead and my recommendation, staff recommendation, is go ahead and approve it. And in the future, when something like that happens, I can tell you we'll probably bring ODOT in on any type of suit on a cross-claim to protect our interest in that matter, because we didn't do that the last time, you know, just out of courtesy, but we will again. We will from this point forward. So I would recommend that you pass the agreement as presented.
Motion to approve.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Gary Houck,
Yes.
Larry Church, Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now reports. City manager sudden link letter.
Yes, I think it's in your packet. The Sudden Link has decided they're going to change their lineup again. I'll just remind everyone that the city does not have the say-so on either rates or the way that they package their product. We just get a franchise agreement with them to use our right-of-ways, so, but they are about to change that lineup, and that's in your packet. Remind everyone that school starts, I think, Friday, and so you're going to have to slow it down in the school zones. We're going to be out doing school zone speed enforcement, and we're going to take care of those kids for sure. So please.
Is the street next to the school going to be open?
Oh, yes.
Where it's
Yes,
closed?
it's already poured. It looks great. Our crews did fantastic. Right now, it's just curing. I think probably another 24 hours, don't you, Mike? Yeah, it'll definitely be ready by Friday. So, yeah, that's going to be a good addition. Good rebar enforcement, and it's ready to rock. We're getting just tickets on top of tickets for tall weeds and grass. I know there are a lot of impatient people that want to see it happen today, but we've got mounds of tickets. Brad, bless his heart, is processing through those as fast as he can in the city court. But we're giving out a lot of fines, and people need to be aware that we expect the tall weeds and grass to be gone. So we're working that pretty strong right now. Finally got my city attorney back off of military duty. Welcome home. One of the things that we're going to be working on in the next couple of weeks are the agreement for people to adopt a park. So expect to see that on your next council packet. We're going to be ready to go and hopefully have advertised by then. We won't have the agreement in place for you to execute yet, but once you approve it, we'll start going on that. And lastly, but not least, remember to vote on August 23rd. We've got some important issues facing our community, and we need everyone to turn out and have their say in the direction that our community is going to go. That's all I have.
City Attorney?
Yeah, just echo what Steve said on the tall weeds and grass. I probably assigned more probably in the last 2 weeks than I have in any 2-week period I've been here. Also, props to the Humane Society that's running our animal shelter. Never seen the amount of work that they've done. There's stray animals. I don't think I've signed as many tickets for the enforcement of keeping your animals on your property and under your control. Several of those tickets. I don't think I've signed so many. I can't tell you how long it's been. But anyway, they're doing a great job showing up, city court, prepared, and we try to resolve them if we can. But please keep your animals on your property and try to keep them up and under. Make sure they've got the proper vaccinations and all of that. They're really cracking down on that, and kudos to them. So that's all I have.
Ward 1, Bill Wantland.
As I say almost every time, our thanks to all of the staff and all the workers for the city of Seminole who do a fantastic job, and to our people. And I would just second what Steve said, be sure and vote on the 23rd of August.
Ward 1, Larry Church.
I have a question about the feral cats. I have cats invading my home at night and exercising their liberties on my porch and in the sand next to my driveway, et cetera, et cetera. So I have been working with the folks at the animal shelter. I was told that there is not a real city ordinance about the cats, about what can be done with them, that sort of thing. I've taken a few to the shelter, and they accepted them wholeheartedly for a while. But now, the last one I took, I guess someone had been bitten or attacked by a feral cat, and so they were reluctant to take it. And I allowed as such that it's their cat now. So they did take it, but I suspect what they did with it was take it to the country. They would run. And I've heard that there's some folks that's kind of looking at working up a proposal for an ordinance or whatever. Is that the case? I don't know what to do.
No, it's an animal running at large. If it's loose, it's running at large. I've had that discussion with a couple of the members out at the Humane Society. For whatever reason, when dark comes, people tend to let their cats out. The discussion that I've had with the animal shelter is those are animals at large. We don't discriminate against cats or dogs or whatever. If they're running at large, they need to be picked up. Especially in instances. I mean, we've had complaints that that people have actually called in about cats running at large, and exactly what you just said. Well, we don't take cats. No, we do take cats. That is something we do. And if people have a problem with cats in their neighborhood, if they're not getting satisfaction to the animal shelter, they need to call the city hall, and I'll help. We'll get some resolution to that problem.
Good. Thank you.
I'd just add on that, the problem that you've got with those feral cats is who owns them?
They're not so feral.
Yeah.
That's
right.
I mean, there's nobody to cite. It's more of a control issue, I think, more than anything,
Absolutely.
so.
They're not unclaimed feral cats. I have, some people that are angry with me because I won't allow, or stand by while their cats use the bathroom on my front porch or back porch.
That ordinance applies to them.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
And the problem begins to multiply, obviously, when people let their cats out at night. Then we have unwanted kittens a few months later. So, I mean, now it seems to me that from a humane society, they should want to capitalize or get in front of the problem early rather than have to deal with it later.
Well, to make it clear, I love cats. But I like cats as well as I like dogs. And I like them both a lot. I just don't have time to take care of an animal right now, so that's why I don't have one. Or I would, but I would keep it inside if it were mine. And that's, not having, and I say again, that when I took the last one there, I thought that I was gonna have to take it home, turn it loose again. But I just insisted that I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening.
So there should be, well, I think ideally there'd be some protection for the people who work in the shelters. I don't know what kind of methods you can use to move cats around where they won't bite you and scratch you. Things like that. Evidently, that person never didn't go on. So they're afraid of it.
I'll follow up on that, see if we can't get some help.
Thank you.
Ward 2, Gary Hauk.
I'd like to thank the citizens, the staff. I mean, there's many things in this town, like I've said, that we wouldn't have. The softball fields and many things. And as the citizens have always done, it's very, very, very important that you go out and vote. I mean, without your vote, who knows? So.
Ward 3, Jeff Griffin.
Obviously, as has been said a few times, as staff, we really do appreciate, it's a tough time of the year, it's hot, but, those guys are out working every day, and we guys and gals, we appreciate it. I'd also like to thank the volunteers that serve on these committees that we have and other organizations that help the city and the citizens. We really need that help, and we're always looking for additional people to help. So if you're interested, let some of us know. We'd love to get you on some of these committees.
Or mowers.
Or mowers.
Especially weed eaters. Mike tried to hook me up on a weed eater out at the lake. So he is still waiting.
Ward 3, Tim Poplin.
Pretty much everything's been said. Vote's very important, but I would like to encourage the citizens to get the facts before they vote and then go vote. Pretty much said, but anyway, thanks everybody else.
Ward 4, Chris Anson.
Well, I'm either oblivious to where the tall grass is at, but I haven't really noticed our parks or anything overgrown, considering everything's still green. Yeah, I think you guys have been doing a great job staying on top of it. So thanks for that. Thanks everybody else.
Dee Dee Patterson.
I'm going to go a little further with Steve and Mike and their crew. I'll tell you what, your emergency crew will stand by on Saturday when we had that break on Phelps with Johnny on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
They repaired it as fast as they could. They got us back online. And I tell you, the citizens should really appreciate our people.
Yep.
You did a good job. And I have one question. If we had a bypass, would we have voted different on that?
That bypass would save us millions.
That's all I have.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?